it's quite clear that businessmen often forget what it is that they make money from. They make money from CIS. In all our countries, they enjoy the privileges of free trade. It's our common trait to tell our leadership about our problems and forget about our achievements and about independent values that have already been achieved. These links make business links is what gives us economic foundation, and all these uncertainties that have been mentioned cannot pull this single economic field apart thanks to the strong economic links. We'll discuss it again, and now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Kluev, first Vice Premier of Ukraine. Ukrainian elections is a very important event of the year since last forum. We understand the difficult issues and challenges faced by the Ukrainian government, and this is why, Andrei, would like to ask you, you're a pragmatist. What do you expect from cooperating with CIS, and how do you see CIS and this cooperation? Dear members of the panel, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to greet you on behalf of the Ukrainian government. This representative meeting between businessmen and officials bears witness to the urge that our peoples have towards friendship and cooperation. Today, after this very strong wave of international financial crisis that has overwhelmed us, we have all the possibilities and everything we need to cooperate and to develop the potential of our national economies and to increase their resistance and resilience to these cataclysms. Industries, agriculture, transport in the CIS countries remain linked with each other to a large extent, and these links are worth maintaining. This is a good basis for our common future. The CIS market is a historical common market that we've inherited, and we must maintain it and develop it in every way we can. And as we develop, modernize, and improve its segments, the CIS countries can together pull themselves up to international standards in terms of technology and quality of the products, and improve their competitiveness of their goods that they sell in European and world markets. We must understand that only as part of a strong economic union will all the participants be able to take a breath and to take the challenges of European and international competition. Further deepening of integrational processes within the CIS is indelibly linked with the need to develop economic cooperation between the partners. Leading countries of the CIS today are taking certain measures, and we can count on tangible, positive results. I would like to inform you about the Ukrainian position. Given the number of factors, our country, for the last 5 years, was on the sort of was not in the center of integrational processes. It wasn't really involved. After presidential elections, which took place in February this year, internal political and economic situation in Ukraine is improving, mainly due to the need, to the desire of the leadership of the country to restore economic and political position of the country and to improve its rating of a reliable and predictable partner. Viktor Yanukovych, the president, and the coalition majority in the parliament, as well as the government, have taken the responsibility to develop the country in difficult times. They've come to the rudder in dire times, given the state of the Ukrainian economy and negative external and internal factors that have deepened and exacerbated the crisis. The government is taking all types of measures to sanate our finances, our banking sector, our companies, and to revive investment activity.
Are also to provide the influx of capital and new technologies. we need to remove our economy from this situation and make it stronger and more mature. And what's particularly important is that our economic relations with other countries should grow and become more mature again, despite all the negative factors that there are. The Ukrainian economy is beginning to rise, but this happens only due to certain mechanisms of competition and the change in the markets globally. As different from last year, this year we observe a trend for greater trade interchange between CIS countries, especially Azerbaijan, Belarus, and the Russian Federation. We view the Commonwealth of Independent States as a very important international organization with a good future that helps its participants find common solutions to common problems, or at least to exercise joint action in specific situations of common threats, risks, or it gives an opportunity for joint profits. The new leadership of the country has chosen to work together with Russia and other CIS countries. Our European trend is not something that precludes our cooperation with CIS. A starting point for Ukraine's development is the program for economic reform for the years 2010 through 2014 that was made public by the President of Ukraine early this year. It's, in fact, a new wave of systemic reform to modernize the economy of Ukraine and make it more adaptable to the challenges and demands of the changing world. We plan to solve our tasks of a higher level, become a more energy efficient and high-tech and investment-driven economy, which promises a number of political and economic benefits. It's our priority number one. So we plan for improving the business climate in our country and attracting investment. These conditions will be built into our new tax code, and we hope that the participants of this roundtable will be interested to hear that. The government of Ukraine has set itself the difficult task of making Ukraine a country that ranks higher than before in the business-friendly countries. We plan to reduce by 30% the number of activities that have to be accompanied by a license, and reduce the number of inspecting organizations. We also plan to simplify our customs routines. We hope to build the trust from investors and build a new package of incentives for those who bring money into our economy. That will be also built into our tax code. Before the end of the year 2010, the government plans to develop an agency that will promote influx of investment in the country. And we also intend to institute a regime of investment that will give investors serious tax benefits. We are very serious about developing small and medium-sized businesses. Unfortunately, just 10%, not more, of our economy is made up of such enterprises. We're going to give them priority attention. And hopefully, within 5 or 10 years, small and medium-sized businesses must play a more tangible role in developing the country's GDP. I would like to voice here a number of proposals concerning cooperation within the CIS. First among this is greater cooperation in the trade, in goods and services, and also in the mining and fuel and energy sectors. We have to learn the lessons from the 20 years of survival, each country by itself. There is a need to change the format of our relationships to be able to stand up in this difficult world. Cooperation now has to be multilateral. Groups of countries of different configurations today come together to resolve their sectoral or regional issues. Ukraine intends to develop and strengthen relations with CIS countries, and that requires preparing and signing a new WTO rules-based treaty on our economic cooperation for the period until the year 2020. Ukraine was once one of the most active developers of such strategy, but in 2008, as this treaty was almost signed, the previous government of Ukraine made so many caveats and amendments to that treaty that it became impracticable. At present, the government of Ukraine is reviewing and revisiting those documents that were either signed by Ukraine or where amendments and reservations were made. We hope and expect to recall most of those caveats. We also plan to intensify the trade dialogue between Ukraine and Russia.